Hello, welcome to my channel. I am Shelly and I'm a full-time reseller on Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay. And you can find all of my stores as well as follow me along on Instagram under ShelBellePosh. I will also have those linked down in the description box below if you want to check any of those out. I will have links down there so you can kind of click them a little bit easier. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of my tips for the Goodwill outlet, also known as the Goodwill bins. So yeah, I'm just going to go through some things that I find helpful for me, for any first timers at the bins, or just people who are a little nervous to go. Maybe you've had a bad experience there and things like that. And I will say off the bat, obviously not every location is going to be exactly the same. Different ones will have different rules, and just different things like that. But I don't know, I just wanted to give you some tips that I feel like would be helpful for me if I was a first-time person going to the bins. So yeah, first we're going to talk about what are the Goodwill bins or the Goodwill outlet. So the Goodwill outlet is actually Goodwill's pay by the pound location. And so what it is a lot of the overflow or excess donations will just go there automatically without ever hitting a traditional Goodwill racked store, just because there's too much textiles. There's a lot of textile waste, unfortunately, in the US, and just a lot of it going in and out of thrift stores and things like that. So they just don't have enough floor space, I feel like, to sell it all themselves. So that is kind of a lot of the items that I find at the bins, because a lot of them will not have like Goodwill tags on them, but they also will send stuff there that they did put in the store and it never sold in the Goodwill store, so then they will put it in the bins to see if it can be sold there to make some money off of it still. So you will see some items with Goodwill tags on them, but like I said, some will not have Goodwill tags on them. It just kind of depends. I feel like, again, that might depend on location. For me, I feel like the majority of the stuff I see is not items that were ever in a Goodwill. They do not have tags on them. They do not have anything on them. They are just kind of like raw donations that were just dropped off at Goodwill, and Goodwill could not process through all of them to put in their store, so then they put them in the outlet so they can still make money off of those items. And sadly, a lot of this stuff that is not sold at the end of a rotation will probably end up going to the landfill or maybe overseas to another country where they also don't really have space for it. Okay, so that is kind of what the Goodwill outlet is, and price varies per location. The location that I go to is $2 a pound, and it does not matter how many pounds you get. It is always $2 a pound for textiles, and then I believe like books, electronics with a cord, and glassware is all 50 cents a pound at my location. So yeah, price will differ and things like that, but that is my location that I go to for pricing. So before you go to the bins, I would recommend these few things to bring with you. Number one, you definitely need some bags, or you could do boxes or something. Like IKEA bags are great, or just like bigger shopping totes are also good. You could even do trash bags as well, but always bring some bags with you. I always just have like a few designated thrifting bags that I bring. I have some IKEA ones, some other shopping totes that I've gotten, and I always bring those because that way once I check out, I put my cart on the scale. They will minus the cart's weight and then give me the pounds that I have to pay. I will pay, and then I will kind of take my cart to the side and then bring out my bags and put all of my thrifted goodies in my bags. So definitely bring bags, because I feel like most of them don't have bags. I did go to a location before that did have just like the plastic bags, like really big plastic bags you could use, but I feel like it's just easier too for like carrying your items home and putting in the car and stuff if you have bags that have actual straps. Another tip that is good to have bags, because for my location, usually it's not an issue, but sometimes the carts will be out of carts. There's no more carts for you to grab. So that way, if you have a bag, you can actually just start putting your finds in your bag instead of like carrying them in your arms, and you kind of like drag your bag on the ground or something. So that's another good reason to make sure you bring some bags with you. Okay, some other things I would suggest bringing. For me, I always wear a mask just because I'm pretty allergic to dust and it kind of messes me up if I don't. So I always wear a mask personally at the bins. You can do like a cloth one. I have like a box of a mask in my car just in case I don't have one that I always use. And you can also do like a desk mask if you are really allergic. I'm pretty allergic to dust, so that's, like I said, the reason why mostly I like to do it, and just that way I'm not like getting debris and stuff in my eyes and nose and face or whatever. And then you can also do gloves. You could do the like disposable, like plastic ones, or you could actually do more heavy duty gloves as well. I personally do not use gloves at the bins because I feel like I can definitely like feel fabrics and stuff a little bit easier when I'm not wearing gloves, but of course that is 100% up to you. If you're more comfortable wearing gloves, then wear gloves. Just always, you know, at the end, make sure you wash your hands, use hand sanitizer and things like that if you're not wearing gloves. And also bring a water and some snacks like a granola bar or something, just in case that you get thirsty, hungry, or whatever. I don't know if you can eat. I'm pretty sure my location says you can't eat in there, so I usually will just like eat a granola bar once I get in my car, drink some water and stuff like that. So that is some things I would suggest bringing. And then I'm going to have some other tips as well. So kind of like what to expect at the bins. It can be a little bit crazy. And again, this is going to vary on location, but usually a lot of people there are resellers. Some people can get a little bit aggressive. I have seen fights break out in the past. But some tips to kind of steer clear of those kind of things. One thing I would say is go a little bit later in the day, because I do feel like most people go like right at open and get as many rotations in as they can, and then they leave a little bit earlier. So I would recommend going a little bit later in the day if you're a little bit nervous. That way it'll be a little less crowded and maybe not as many aggressive resellers and stuff, because they've already gotten all their stuff for the day and are going home to list and things like that. So that's one tip I would say, just to, if you are a little bit nervous about a lot of people, just to go a little bit later in the day. Give yourself a couple hours still though, just because you don't know what you're going to find, and it might take a little bit longer, especially your first few times, to go through the bins. And another tip I would say, if you're a little bit nervous, they will bring out new bins. So the outlet is just, most of them are these big blue bins, which is where it gets its name, the bins, instead of the Goodwill outlet. And what they will do is they will take away some of the bins that have already been out for shoppers to look through, and those have been out for a while, so they will put those in the back and get rid of that stuff, like I said, and then they'll bring out new bins. And so I'd say most locations you probably can't look in the bins before all the bins are placed. So at my location, there is like two rows of 5 bins each, so it's a total of 10 new bins. And that is like for clothing. They'll bring out 10 new bins of clothes, and they have to like put them all there, lock them in place, and then they will let you go and shop through there. So just, if you are a little bit nervous, again, just don't go to new bins. Just kind of wait a little bit, because once some people start going through the new bins, it is gonna get a little less crowded over there. So then maybe after you're looking through some other stuff, you can go over there and look through the new bins as well, just because that is kind of a time when people are like pulling stuff and trying to get stuff as quickly as they can. So if you are a little nervous about like going in head first with that, I would suggest just to kind of stay back, look through some of the older bins that are already been on the floor, and then once people have kind of gone through some of the newer bins, you can kind of go over there at your own pace and go a little bit slower through those bins. But definitely make sure you're looking through all the bins, because I've always found a lot of good stuff in the picked over bins, because people are looking for different things that you're looking for, and different brands, different items, different styles, just whatever. People are going to be selling different items that work well for them in their stores or their brick and mortar stores or whatever, their online shops. Or if you're looking for personal use, for stuff for friends and family and stuff, you might be looking for other brands and things like that too. So go through the older bins. Don't be afraid to like look through older bins, even if not a lot of people are looking through them, because like I said, I've found a lot of good stuff in those picked over bins as well. Some rules that at least my bin has, just not to go through any of the bins before the workers will tell you that you can go ahead and look through the bins. So just always kind of hold back and wait till they say you can go. If other people start going, then maybe your bin's location, it doesn't matter and you can just go. But I would say, just to be safe, always make sure you're like waiting until all the bins are in place and the retail workers tell you that it's okay to start looking through those bins. Another tip I have is to go through like everything in the bin. So I know a lot of people will, especially during new rotations, kind of like just move stuff over and like looked at the bottom of the bin to see what they're like looking for. And I'm sure they find stuff that they like that way as well, because I mean a lot of people do it. But for me, when I'm going through a bin, I like to try to touch at least almost every single thing in the bin, just because I can feel fabric, I can feel material and things like that, and I can kind of find better stuff that way. I don't think I'd really find a ton of stuff if I just kind of looked quickly through a bin, because small stuff is good stuff too. You know, you might find a cute little pair of Lululemon shorts or something that are super small in a little ball in a corner of a bin that no one else saw because they're just in a corner and no one's looking at them. So that is kind of helpful, I think, to just go through the bins slowly, especially if you're starting out. Go through them slowly, and you don't have to look at like every single item, like hold it up and look at it, but just kind of like feel stuff. Even if you're wearing gloves, you can hopefully feel a little bit of stuff if it feels nicer. Quickly, you know, kind of check out condition. If something's super worn, just pass it on if it's not anything you're interested in. But you could do a little extra work, get a sweater shaver, and things like that as well. Do some stain treating because maybe someone didn't do that on the item yet. And you can save it from going to the trash. So yeah, I recommend just going at your own pace and just kind of enjoying it. You never know what you're gonna find. It's always a really fun time to see what you're gonna find, whether, like I said, you're a reseller or you are shopping for yourself or friends or family. You can always find some fun stuff, and don't be discouraged if you don't find like anything good the first time or the first few times you go. It is normal thrifting, so it's always going to be hit or miss what you can find. But it is really fun to go, and I love being able to shop at the bins for me as a reseller because it is kind of the cheapest cost of goods that I personally can get in my area. So that is like where the majority of my stuff comes from. I also like that I'm like saving stuff from going to the landfill or going overseas and out of the US and stuff. And that way I can kind of bring it back into circulation through me selling it, and I am able to make money that way, but I'm also saving some clothes from going to the landfill. So that is always super awesome as well. So yeah, that's some of my tips for thrifting at the Goodwill outlet, stuff to bring, kind of what to expect. And I hope this was helpful. I know I didn't go crazy in depth, but I hope this was helpful for people who maybe haven't been to a Goodwill outlet location before, and just kind of knowing what to expect when you're there. Like I said, it can be a little bit crazy, but that's going to depend on location and things like that. But I hope you can go and enjoy and have fun and find some fun thrifted goodies. I hope you were able to learn some things about the Goodwill outlet if you've never been before, what to kind of expect when you're there, what to bring, and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed, and please let me know kind of your tips as well for the Goodwill outlet. I know it didn't go like super in depth, but I hope just this could help some people maybe who are feeling a little discouraged to go and try it out and see if you do enjoy it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!